menstrual hygiene management is essential for the growth and empowerment of adolescent girls, women, and girls as it helps them reach their full potentials. According to statistics, more than 300 million women worldwide menstruate monthly, and an estimated 500 million of these same women lack access to menstrual products and adequate facilities to manage their menstrual hygiene. Greetings to you, dear TV friend, and welcome to another edition of Women's Voice on Divine Mercy Radio Television. It is a program that comes up every Thursdays from 5 p.m. You have a replay on Sundays at exactly 4:30 p.m. And on today's edition of the program, we are talking about menstrual health management, menstrual hygiene management. On the 28th of each month, we have a sensitization campaigns, and you must have noticed a couple of days back a good number of civil society organizations were bringing together young girls, including boys, because as we always say, these issues we discuss on Women's Voice is not just about women, it's not just for women, it's about women, but also for women and men. And if we must achieve a gender equal society, men and women must come together and work together to promote and support each other. On today's edition of the program, dear TV friend, we're looking at World Menstrual Hygiene Day, and our topic for today will be: is sensitization and the distribution of sanitary pad enough? You can share your thoughts with us via SMS or WhatsApp on the numbers which you find on your screen. In the meantime, we are here to actually raise awareness and also sensitize on the importance of menstrual health hygiene, or menstrual hygiene, or menstrual management. So to begin with, dear TV friend, they are all familiar faces if you are a viewer of DMR TV and particularly a follower of Women's Voice. I'll start with our counselor and gender expert, Madam Mabel Etonge, who is very present here and from the field as we speak to sensitize young girls and boys on the importance of menstrual hygiene. Greetings to you and welcome to Women's Voice.
Greetings to you, Joyce. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here on set, and a familiar face on DMR TV, who we always say that we need men. It is a he for she approach to gender issues which we adopt each time on Women's Voice. We have our ever-present Otop Joseph, who is a journalist and also works with a lot of civil society organizations when it comes to issues of GBV and why not issues that concern the welfare and the health of women. Greetings to you, Otop, and thanks for joining us.
Greetings to you, Joyce, and it is a delight to be here once again on the program Women's Voice.
It's a pleasure to always have you, and a special greetings to those of you watching us from your screens. And also we have a crew of persons whom we have loved to share with you, but they're supporting us and following us live and direct from here in the studio. So we're going to take a very short brief, and then we'll come back to begin discussing on today's edition of the program. You're welcome back, dear TV friend. If you're just tuning in, you're on to Women's Voice on Divine Mercy Radio Television, and our talking point for today, our focus is on menstrual hygiene day, which was celebrated on the 28th of May 2024. It's a celebration that comes up every year, and our talking point for today, we're finding out from you, dear TV friend. You share with us menstrual hygiene day is sensitization and distribution of sanitary pads enough? You can share your thoughts with us while we begin conversations here. You have the numbers on your screen. You can either send us an SMS or WhatsApp message on the numbers which you find on your screen. To begin with, I'll leave it open without tagging it to any person. When we talk about menstrual hygiene day, World Menstrual Hygiene Day, what day are we talking about? What is the focus? What's the interest? What's the background of this day? Why should we commemorate this day?
All right, I think I will begin. I'm
Okay.
People will be surprised saying, why is a guy talking about menstrual hygiene day? But as you rightly said, it is a he for she movement. You'll be a father tomorrow. So it's not only left for the mother to train the child or educate the child about menstrual hygiene. Now, talking about menstrual hygiene, it is a day that is instituted or celebrated every May 28th in order to time to spotlight the importance of menstrual hygiene, how women or young girls can take care of themselves during this when they are on their menstruation, and also showing the importance of creating a safe space in which a woman or a girl child who is on menstruation can maybe change privately. You know, it's not an open thing, it's a private thing. So this is why this day is instituted. And talking about the importance of the day and the month, talking of May 28. Now, May represents the 5 days in which a woman menstruates, approximately 5 days, and 28 days from it refers to the days in which the cycle
on an average
menstruation cycle. So that is why they particularly choose this day to celebrate the menstrual hygiene day. It is an international day. It's not only celebrated in Cameroon, it's celebrated in various countries in the world, like I said, to spotlight the importance of menstrual hygiene, how young girls and women can take care of themselves during this period, and also providing a safe space or a private space in which women who are under menstruation or girls can change safely and adequately.
Thank you very much, Otop. I must comment that I'm particularly feel impressed having a man articulating that for us. It feels different, and having to talk about the 5 days. You certainly, I guess you have sisters. That would just be my best guess, because for a man to be able to articulate that, you have done a lot of research, which is a testament of the good work you do as far as the promotion of well-being of women is concerned. Thank you so much, Otto, for throwing more light on that. I'll go with you, Mabel. Anything to add?
Okay, he has said it all, and you said it must be recommended, or I must acknowledge the fact that as a man, having a mastery of this means you're supportive. It means that alone is a psychosocial support to us women. And so menstrual hygiene day is aimed at highlighting, like he said, the importance of maintaining proper hygienic practices during this period in the life of a woman and a young girl. And I can say that this is very important in our society, because most of us grow up without knowing these things. Most of us parents also, we don't see it necessary to discuss this with our girls and with our sisters or the younger ones until they get into it, and most often than not they find themselves doing it wrongly. And so it is important for this day that they thought about bringing it to light since 2013. It's important we sing the song, let people get to know, and then let them know how to do it rightly, because menstruation, Joyce, you don't ask for it, it will come.
Definitely.
Whether you like it or you're emotional about it, it's definitely going to come all the time and every month, like we say it. And so the right thing to do and the most appropriate thing to do is to learn how to handle it properly.
All right, thank you very much, dear TV friend. You have the topic on your screens, which you can join the conversation via SMS or WhatsApp. But before we go into the appropriate thing, before we go into the sensitization, the do's and the don'ts during managing your menses and all whatnot, can we just talk a bit about the theme? This year's theme talks about advocating for health and dignity. We are talking about menstruation, and I think one of the focus is advocating for health and dignity. Either of you just help us throw more light on this year's theme.
All right, talking about the theme of 2024, advocating for health and dignity. Menstruation is in line with health, taking care of your health too, because if you are not clean during that period, then you might maybe contact a disease, maybe through your changing, or if you are not clean at that period. Now, talking about health, if we look in a contemporary society right now, I can say there are few health facilities that are being brought or are in the disposal of women during this menstruation period. Take for example, if a woman maybe is in a hospital or is in a school and she's on her menstruation and she wants to change, they don't have clean private areas or toilets in which they can go there and change. It's protecting the dignity of a woman. Like I said earlier, it's not something that is public or is just shown anyhow and all of that. It's protecting the dignity and the health of a woman. So I think choosing this theme this year, throwing more light on health, is very important. At this period, a woman is expected to be extremely clean. Even if you are a dirty person, but during this period you are expected to be very clean, because at any point you can contact anything from where you change, from maybe when you eat, you don't wash your hands properly with soap and all of that. So I think that is the main reason why they choose the theme highlighting on health and dignity for the year 2024.
I equally think that when we talk about health here, being a mental health advocate, I always bring mental issues to this. The psychological well-being of the lady menstruating. Like we said, I remember last year in one of the episodes, Joyce, you mentioned that most ladies get mood swings during menstruation, and so at that moment I would say that the psychological health is not the best. And so when we talk about it, if you look also at the slogan for this year, it is a period friendly world. So we're trying to come to a period friendly world where no matter the inconveniences that menstruation brings to the woman, we are making it friendly. We're making it with no stigmatization, so that we will somehow be enhancing their physical and their psychological health. Because when you maintain proper hygiene, you're going to have a good physical health, and you will also feel relief even psychologically. And so it's a very important thing. The theme really says it all, because it embodies the physical health of the woman, the psychological health, and making it period friendly. We're talking against stigma. We're not supporting the fact that you say, "Ooh, because you're menstruating now, please, you don't cook, you don't do this, you don't do that." No, we're looking at measures where, I think the theme is looking at measures where you still be able to do that, but in a proper hygienic manner.
All right, let me give another perspective as per my understanding of this theme. Talking about health, you have elaborated a lot, which is basic, and also giving healthcare facilities. Women during their menstruation go through, there's some who go through period cramps, there's some who have different health effects, and how it's about advocating for health facilities where women can be attended to, or they can have access to what they need during this period of menstruation. And this is not only about women in the urban areas. We have areas where I think even for women to get sanitary pads is quite difficult. So these are particularly the areas where we should advocate for access to sanitary pads, and also give them favorable conditions where they can have income. In some areas, the sanitary pads about 800 francs or 1,000 francs, whereas there are other goods which could be substituted. I think last year we were talking about subsidizing prices for sanitary pad, because menstruation is not a choice. Later on, we're going to get into that discussion. And talking about dignity, in today's society, whether an adult or a young girl, we still get stigmatized for being stained. We still get stigmatized for being in a period, and some customs and some traditions or religions sometimes treat the woman during her period as not being healthy, or not being clean, being unclean, and which is something which we seriously discourage. It is not a choice. It is a life cycle. So we seriously discourage some of those customs and traditions or religions that consider women as unclean during their period, up to the extent where they are maybe set at the side. You're not cook, you're not going to touch my things, you're not going to do this or that, you're not going to go to so and so place until your period is over. That already I think it affects on the person's it affects the person mentally and also on the person's dignity. So one of the things is, and it goes back to the slogan we have as a target, to promote a period friendly world. Let us be each other's keeper. Let us not victimize those who are having their period. At any age we can get stained. So if you see someone get stained, rather than raising an alarm or mocking the person,
statement, at every age we can get stained.
Yes.
Yeah, I think when I was growing up, I didn't know that. I thought that it's just for the naive teenagers, until when I had some big people and I saw it and I was like, wow, please don't. And we will be very quick. Some of us are very quick to make statements like, even for the age, see you so sitting when it happened, not knowing many things happen. Like Joyce is saying, it could be hormonal imbalance, and then you see it flowing unusual, maybe more than it used to be, and maybe it comes unannounced because of especially approaching menopause. For some women it changes. So I think this talk doesn't go just to the teenagers.
Definitely it goes to, and hopefully we have good news for viewers of Women's Voice. We shall have a gynecologist who will always be on our programs to talk about health issues. So we are struggling to work within his program for us to discuss this issue, which has to do partly with menstrual hygiene and every disease that affects women. And in one of the conversations which I have with him, I just want to share with you, Mabel, why I also got convinced that at every age we can get stained. It was an experience for me. As a young girl, I got embarrassed to some point when my mom got stained. But when I went closer, I asked her, but Mama, what happened? When she explained to me her challenge, what happened, then I understood that at any age we can get. And I've seen a couple of elderly women, be it 25, 30, 40, 45, they can get stained. We have a series, our hormones are constantly on the move. Naturally, so those things can happen, so do not victimize those who get stained in the process. So definitely we should have a medical practitioner to give us this explanation in a subsequent edition, where we'll talk about healthcare management in women, and we'll be taking on some particular topics. Yes, Mabel, you wanted to say something?
Okay, no, you've said it all. Because of especially hormonal imbalances, I've seen someone at 50 get stained, and this could, I don't know, I was trying to explain it to those who wanted to make a mockery out of it. I was explaining it to hormonal imbalance as far as menopause is concerned. And so please, let's not be too quick. Somebody made a post and said that if you see something, if you don't have anything positive to say, you rather sit quiet, because whatever you say either enhances the mental health of somebody or it damages it. So if we have this consciousness and we're talking about menstrual hygiene, we're talking about being stained, you will not just see it like very dirty woman, the one. No, you will see it differently, and this is going to promote their health, which is the theme of this year.
All right, Otto? I
think, just to add to what you both have said, there is this ideology that when a girl's menses comes early is when she thinks about bad things. That is why, because yes, because there are some people there are some people who see their menses as early as 9. There are some girls, like you said, their hormones are not different, and each a lady or a woman, their metabolism is not different. So some people see their menses as early as 9 years, and some might see it maybe when they are 16 or 17. It depends on how your body reacts or how your hormones react in your body. And just again, there are some people who stigmatize those who are stained. Maybe you might be expecting your menses this day, but it comes unknowingly on this day. So it's something that we need to support women when it comes to issues like this. Not that when you see a woman that is stained, you start behaving like maybe she has leprosy or she has a disease that she can give to you and all of that. So it's just all about supporting them. When you see that a woman is stained, ask her what's wrong and see how you can help her to maybe salvage that situation.
All right, Joseph, that took us to the myth surrounding menstruation, where people think that those whose menstrual period start early enough, it's because maybe they have been mentally or psychologically exposed to things beyond their age, which is something which is I don't know how proven that is. I don't think it is. Like autopsies say, people have their different system, people grow differently, people have their different genes. Some people get mature, or we have some girls at 16, they are still very flat, they are not on their period, whereas you have some at 9, 10, they have their odd form, and then they have their breasts. So all of that, those are just things we discourage ourselves. So don't stigmatize a child who just had her flow, and you just think that okay, it's too early, maybe this child has been exposed to this or that. It is natural. So we will be continuing our conversation here, dear TV friend. You can join us via SMS or WhatsApp on the numbers which you find on your screens. Before we start rushing, I want us to go on to we'll talk about menstrual hygiene. How are women, we know it is when we talk about menstruation, is the natural disposal of waste blood from a woman's system, which comes up every month on an average. Not every woman has a 28-day cycle, but on an average, a woman's cycle is 28. Some have 24, some have 32 and more. So it varies. Just get to know your own system. So don't get traumatized from here that they say normally a woman's cycle is 28. No, some have a very short one, which is 24. Others have a longer cycle, which is 32 or more. So now to our discussion, I'll begin with you, Mabel. What are some of the tips or the hygiene techniques which women are expected to adopt and respect during this period?
Okay, let me start with bathing. During this period, a woman should at least, or is expected to bathe at least twice a day. This will help you feel better. This will help you feel more comfortable, and it will help you protect you from the odor that menstruation, the waste blood comes with. And so it is appropriate to bathe at least twice a day. If you can do more, it depends, and it depends also on the weather a lot, because if you were sweating too much and bleeding too much, it depends on the weather, it depends on your flow. So at least bathe twice a day. We also have changing of the sanitary napkin, the sanitary pad, or the product you're using in collecting the waste. Make sure that is also changed. If you're not using the cup, if you're using the pad, please, it's not advisable, it's not proper to use it for up to 8 hours. And so it could be between 4 to 6 hours depending on your flow. But as the moment you realize that it is wet, even if it's within an hour, it is bed normal, or it is bed recommended that you change it.
Okay.
So those are some of the few tips. And then make sure you have clean water. Use clean water. And this now brings me to something that you mentioned earlier. In our schools, in our public places, in our markets, do we have private toilets? We know there are open toilets. We know what I'm talking about. Do you have toilets where a lady can change and feel the privacy? Do we have water running in these places? So that's a question that maybe we need to explore that another time, because
Definitely.
we need water to do this.
How period friendly are our institutions?
That is
are
the
our
question.
Public spaces? Definitely, we're going to get back to that. I just want to add to one of the tips, maybe to highlight on what she was saying. Yes, if you get your sanitary pad, they say don't wear it, you can wear it for 8 hours. But again, what is the quality of your sanitary pad? Some pads have a lot of plastic, which is not friendly for you. And then also your choice of pants during this period. It's also avoid nylon.
Cotton is
preferable. And you know that black pants, there's so much heat, it's not very friendly. I know most people choose black pants during this period. That's another topic. Your choice of pants and undies during this period. And also know that wearing very tight dresses during your menstruation is not healthy for you as a woman. And choose cotton-like pants and cotton-like pad, or cotton-friendly pad a lot of what we have in the market has so much plastic in it. And like she did mention, you must not use a pad for up to 8 hours, whether you are flowing or you're not flowing, because some women have a tendency of, okay, it's my last day, or it's my how many days, yes, so I'll just use one pad for the whole day. I'm not sure you're gonna feel comfortable with that. And then studying also your cycle, we know some people could, okay, I am a heavy flower, so the first days I really flow intensely, I can use 3 to 4 to 5 parts. The moment you feel heavy, you feel full, you change. Because I think it should irritate,
so it communicates,
yes, it communicates, and at some point, if it's constantly wet, like what it does to the babies on their diapers, it eventually does to adults too. So I think during this period, women should be quite sensitive to their body so they can know what to put on. And those who have cramps, I think the best thing is to consult a doctor. People tend to have taken medication. Oh, my elder sister had cramps, she took this medication and she was better. Your sister is not you, so make sure you go to the hospital and also have diagnosed. There could be different reasons for period cramps,
but that's another thing. Most of us don't think so. We don't think that period cramps could be biologically explained. We think that either it's because you're weak, you're not woman enough, or because we have some other mystical beliefs about it. But when our gynecologists come, we're going to ask this. But I think it is biological. It is biological because it is the uterine walls are shedding of blood, and for some people the contraction, if it's too intense, or if the muscles are wired differently, you're going to normally feel a pain that maybe another person might not feel. So please, we also equally need to make menstrual cramps friendly.
Yeah, we know it's a whole topic which we're definitely going to also be talking about, because in this whole issue of menstruation that already has stigma, we also have those who have menstrual cramps who are also stigmatized. Additionally to that, now talking about the hygiene, what are women expected to do during this period of their menstruation?
Well, I think the both of you have expatiated on most of the points, but I think the most important thing is to remain clean, extremely clean at that moment, like bathing twice a day. Even if you don't want to bathe completely, you can wash from your waistline downwards, so that there are some people,
you know, where it's cold, so people say, wash.
Some people feel like it's a taboo bathing twice a day. So even if you don't want to bathe entirely, like I said, you can bathe from your waistline downwards with clean water, not using soap.
Joe,
because
Joe,
I was understanding with the fact that where is cold.
No, I understand as well. But let us be practical. You see the energy and the time you're going to take
in dividing
your body. You've already bathed now. So once you just bathe and forget about the thing. Okay, this is where we could be laughing, but we know some people are actually struggling, especially as Boya might be cold. But I think that when you bathe, you feel warm, so just have to do it. It's a good thing. Some people might not even have water, because let me not also assume that everybody has water. In areas, we know that in areas some people can barely have water. We know even in this Boya, some communities don't have water, so somebody will be rationing the water. That's when you can apply Joe's strategy.
So like I was saying, it's important to stay very clean. If you want to bathe, don't use this soap, your bathing soap,
on your genitals.
Yes, on your genitals, because they are antiseptic and it can be dangerous, most especially when you are on your period. And also, talking about choosing your underwear during this period, I think preferably you choose white, because it might stain.
Why do we say expose the the stains?
Well, I think not necessarily, because if you choose maybe a color pants like black, and maybe the waist blood touch your pants, you still carry it and put it on again. So it's advisable to choose colors that if you stain your pants, you'll be able to identify that something has stained your pants, and you will be able, or it will come to your mind that you need to change. You need to change, and you don't wear it again because it's not hygienic and all of that. So choose a color. It might not be necessarily white, something that you can easily see, not something like a black pants, something that you can easily see a blood stain on it, so that you can be able to change. So it's advisable, depending on how you change your pants on a daily basis, that's when you should change your pants. Not that you wear one pants for an entire day when you are on your period. It's not hygienic.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you very much for particularly for the last part, because sometimes these are some the women, it's between us and God, because when we are changing, God is the only person who can watch. Yeah, and sometimes we have the tendency, okay, my pant is not stained, so I'm just going to change it, and which is definitely not a good practice. We also know that sometimes we leave for work and we are there for 8 hours, 9 hours. It might not be very possible for you to change your part and your pants at the same time. But where possible, that's why we are advocating for period-friendly spaces, so that women can freely have time to change their part and their pants at the same time. So it is important, your choice of pants, and also important for you to change your part and also remain clean. The key word is about remaining clean. I want to use this opportunity to plead with the powers that be that are responsible for providing basic amenities such as water in communities. So through our voice this day, we are pleading that you should intensify the pressure, or intensify the need. You can take it to the other quarters as well, so that just this basic water is important for women during their menstruation, so that women can have access to just this basic water to take care of themselves during this during this period. Now, Mabel, I want us to move away to talk about we know during menstruation women use tampon. We are not very accustomed to tampons. Others use sanitary cups. We are not also very accustomed to that, but the basic ones that we use are sanitary pads, and we have both disposable and non-disposable sanitary pads. So how would you advise the use of disposable pads and the use of non-disposable pads?
Okay.
Or reusable,
yeah. Okay, for the disposable pad, we earlier said already that make sure you change it as soon as it is heavy, as soon as it is full. We don't mean full to the brim. Joyce said this is between us women. We mean at least if the blood on it is a reasonable quantity, you will not want to continue with it on your body. So you change it as soon as you can, and let it not extend 8 hours. Okay, because you equally need this process of changing. You're making ventilation, we need this place to also be ventilated, so that we don't breathe bacteria, because during this menses, during this period, you're predisposed to infections, and so keeping the place dry, keeping it airy also is very important. So you change your pad as often as you can. And I think, let me just add, the reason why you see most of these disposable pads are white, I'm yet to see a different color. The reason why we see it white is because so that if you see irregularity in the blood on it, you're going to take note about it, and if possible consult with your doctor. So this could still go to us in our choice of the underwears that we're wearing on, so that we will observe what is happening. It should not be something that will be very contrasting to the part will cover it up. So make sure that you use what you will easily observe, and then be able to see that there's a difference, or there's a need for me to pay attention to what is happening to my body now. And now, coming to the reusable pad, I'm not going to talk much on the disposable, because Joyce, you mentioned it already. If you're using pad that has too much plastic that doesn't have much cotton, change it as often as you can. This also will guide our choice of sanitary pads that we get. And if you're using the reusable sanitary napkins, we will also recommend that you use colors that you can see well, like bright blue, white will always be ideal. To me, there's eau de javel. They say for 50 francs I can put in water and I will bleach with it after washing it. But then you could use other colors. You could decide to stitch it to be a little thick. You could decide to just fold and double. But now when you use it, as soon as it is wet, be conscious that this doesn't have the plastic under, and so it can easily stain you, unlike the person using the disposable that has this lining under. And so when you change it, you're going to change more often than the person. So I don't think you can use this napkin for 8 hours for somebody that has average flow, except somebody that is really has a limited flow. So please, you change it as often as you can. You wash it, and if possible, warm water at the end of your period. Put omo, put it back inside, wash it and rinse it very well. Even with the water crisis, do this for your health. Rinse it very well. If possible, dry it under sun. Let there be sunlight on it. It's going to help make the place not comfortable for the breath of bacteria. And if you can iron it, it will be best. You iron, put it well in a plastic, and keep for the next cycle.
Okay, thank you very much. We know that due to economic reasons, not every woman can accommodate or can afford the disposable sanitary pad monthly. Some resort to using the reusable pad. But again, when you're using reusable pad, you have to observe the previously mentioned. You must keep them clean. You must wash them, and then you must also disinfect them. Make sure sunlight has its own role to play, not only on our pad but on our undies. That's why it's advisable that no matter what you do, make sure some sun gets on your pants. And I would just add that even for women who are using the disposable pad or the non-reusable, it is always advised that at the end of your period, normally when you change, you're bathing, you're washing your pants, and then you're drying them, it's also advisable at the end of your cycle, you collect all of those pants which you use during your period, rewash them, disinfect them, sun them, and you make sure you iron them before keeping them back or reusing them. That again, you have discarded of any bacteria. And most essentially, when we're talking about keeping yourself clean, how do you take care of your private during this period? One of the things Joseph mentioned was about using normal water and not soap that is antiseptic. And even after your period, because some people say, I'm going to douche. The woman's body is created on its own. It has useful bacteria and it cleans itself automatically. So once you start putting some of these chemicals there, you are affecting the natural flora of your genitals, which means that you are now instead killing the useful bacteria and putting yourself at risk. Now let us take on the conversation further. I think we've highlighted a lot on what women should do. Now coming back to this day, something related to our topic. These days you are characterized by sensitizing about menstruation. We'll talk about the myth, we'll talk about the importance, we'll talk about what women should and should not do during this period. Do we think that this is enough? Before I even get there, let me get this other question. What other activities do you think can be done to ameliorate this menstrual health, menstrual hygiene day, besides sensitization and distribution of sanitary pad?
Okay, I think we can we mention it, we can ensure that our public spaces are period friendly. We could say, okay, for this year, we're going to make the markets public friendly. This goes to us who are in the market. It goes to the people who are in charge of that. We could play that role apart from just giving the parts. Okay, what of now? Okay, the person already has it and it's in the market from the morning till evening selling. Where do I change? Where do I have water to clean up at least once during the day? Let's make by making our public spaces period friendly, we could be enhancing the menstrual health of the women. And also, I'm talking of market, schools, our motor parks, churches, even your home, your house. Some of us have a public toilet where we get up at 5 a.m. and do parachute. You could decide, use any material. Yes, I have people like that till today. Yes, around me. And so we could decide, use even normal natural materials. Could be build a fence or something for privacy. It must not be sophisticated. This is very important. It is very important. I think this is an opportunity to bring this to light. Yeah, so that during the day you can change there, you can clean up and not wait till places are dark so that you parachute. So these are some of the activities that we could be doing, sensitizing people on doing this, or engaging, taking it upon ourselves. And I'm asking myself, what's the role of the men? You're here with us, you're already playing one role by telling us how to go about it. And I'm looking at the other men. Please, dear fathers, dear elder brothers, dear husbands, provide for us private spaces that are period friendly. I think this activity also is going to help promote the menstrual health of the women.
All right, thank you very much, Otop Joseph. What other things do you think are necessary for the promotion of this menstrual hygiene, the celebration, other activities you think could be included in the commemoration of this day?
Like she said, creating a period-friendly world in which women can have accessibility to these menstrual hygiene tools on a daily basis or every month if it's possible, with the help of civil societies and in collaboration with the government too, and creating private places, or let's just say public toilets in which women can safe places and private places in which women can change. Like we said, it happens at any time. Maybe you might be thinking it will happen today and it might happen tomorrow and all of that. So I think a space should be created for women that even if it happens unexpectedly, then they are sure that they have a private place in which they can change. And also going back to public institutions, the schools, the hospitals and whatsoever. If you go to many schools here, I would take for example our own country, you will hardly find running water, or even if there is water stored, it's not clean enough for a lady or for a woman to use during her period. So I think the schools too, or these institutions, to try as much as possible to provide a place safe for women, knowing that if a woman maybe changes her path, if she's in school or she's in the office, then she knows truly well that she can clean herself in that private space and go back to class, maybe to teach or to attend classes or to go back to the office to do one or two things. And I think these are just the two basic things, making available these menstrual hygiene tools for women and young girls, easily accessible, and considering the prices of pad right now in the market is really expensive, and not everybody has that manpower to buy or to provide for their children at home. So if the civil society and non-profit organizations as well as non-governmental organizations can look into it in collaboration, maybe with the Ministry of Health and the government all together, in order to provide these basic necessities. I'm saying basic necessities because I'm sure it's found in various parts of the world where women, they know that they have a safe place in which they can go in and change. But because of our own kind of ideology, and because we have lived with this myth and considering that it's a taboo and stigmatizing women about it, we have not really gone deeper to see how detrimental this is to women when they don't have this menstrual hygiene tools, and when they don't have these private spaces in which they can feel safe to change themselves when they are experiencing their menstruation.
All right, thank you very much, Otop. Let me take on this contribution. Greetings to you in the studio, and thank you for your insightful conversation. I would just want to say that the same way we put toilet tissue in our offices, let us also put sanitary pads for women. Same in schools and other public spaces. My own little contribution, that is from Michelle, writing us from my 17. Then there is this one from Mabel. Greetings, an interesting topic. I think that we can do more than just sensitizing women and girls. Permit me take another suggestion, give another suggestion rather. To me, the government should subsidize the price of pad. I think some time ago the prices for condoms were subsidized. Sex is a choice, menstruation is not a choice. So they should rather subsidize the prices of sanitary pads, so that even if it is 200, women will be able to afford it. Thank you very much, Mabel. I'm going to take this last but one. Greetings to you in the studio, and thank you for the interesting conversation. I just want to say that we should move beyond distributing sanitary pads. We come once a year and give them. What happens to the rest of the year when they don't have the sanitary pads? Maybe we should advocate more for a reduction in the prices of sanitary pads, and also advocate through councils when constructing public spaces, because even the public toilets are nothing to write home about. Then what if we can talk to them so that they can make it more friendly, so that women can freely come there and change? Thank you very much. We've had these 3 conversations here, these 3 messages. What do you make of it? One is saying that the prices of pad, or 2 as in the prices of pad should be subsidized for women because menstruation is not a choice, other than other things whose prices were subsidized, which is actually a choice. So they should subsidize that, and we should have period friendly spaces, and in our offices and schools
and churches
and also hotels. For those who travel a lot, we should have, because in all of these places you go to the toilet, you might see toilet tissue, you might see a hand wash bowl, you might see soap. They should also make available sanitary pad. What do people think of these varied opinions here?
Okay, I think this really makes sense. I have not thought of it. Yes, if we can provide toilet tissue, let's provide a pad or 2. Let's just keep it there, and then it's going to help. Like we have made it clear here, it could come unannounced, although we are encouraged in our cycle and plan for eventualities, but at times it might come like that. And secondly, you might know your flow, but you didn't expect it to flow the way it does. Women will testify there are some months that it's so heavy you didn't plan, and maybe you left home with just 2 parts and you realize that they're all gone. Maybe you need a 3rd one, or you left just with 1 as usual, but for that month something else happened. Only stress alone can make it come more or less, or not even show up at all, or come when it was not its time. So I really support the fact, I don't know whether it was from Mbombo, Mabel, or the other people, let's put sanitary pad. Also in some schools we have it in the counseling office, in some schools we have it at a dispensary, at a sick bay, but they even put like students pay maybe 100 francs. In my former school we pay 100 francs to get 1. We could do it, because if you say totally free, they will not even, every day you need to share like 20 and maybe 50 francs or something. But let the children know that there is this thing in this place. And for hotels, seriously, if we can put towel, then we can put a sanitary pad. I think that makes sense.
All right. Yes, Otto.
All right, just to add to that about subsidizing the price of sanitary pads out there, we are not saying it should be free totally, because if you look at why this day is being celebrated, is for advocating human rights. That is a right of a woman to have access to these menstrual hygiene tools. So by making it, or by standing for the right of women out there in the society, I think it should be subsidized. It should be brought to a lower price, so that even those who are, I can say, are not financially stable can be able to provide it for themselves and maybe for their daughters they have at home. Because if we say it should be free, then I think
production will not even be possible.
And production will not even be possible, and it's something that is not even possible. It's not even possible at all. So if the government can liaise with like I said, these non-governmental organizations, non-profit organizations, and civil society, see how they can bring or subsidize the price of sanitary pads out there, I think it will be better, so that everyone can use it. Because you can bear with me that there are some people who use toilet tissue as
which is not healthy,
which is not
something we
healthy.
should have discouraged even. Thank you very much, Otto, for bringing that. Toilet tissue has some chemicals that are being sprayed on, and it has its purpose to be used for other things and not for
to kill some other
yes,
bacteria.
to kill bacteria on your anus.
And not
And not, it is not sensitive and friendly for your body, so you cannot and then it is the texture is not very good. The moment it gets soaked, you can absorb it back into your system, and then you start having complications. So toilet tissue is a big no for women during menstruation. Thank you very much, Otto, for bringing that up.
So I think these are one of the main reasons. So to avoid more health complication by people who use toilet rolls and various other, so people even use the white clothes as a pad because they are not able to purchase pad. Right now you can have a pad. There are pads for 1,500, there are pads for 1,000. How do you expect maybe that mama or that sister in the village who is not able to get that pad? So the government should subsidize it. If they can subsidize prices for other things, then what of pad too? So I think that is I agree with that contributor who talked about subsidizing the price of parts.
All right, thank you very much, Otto and Mabel. We are actually running towards the end of this program. Just want to thank our viewers for their participation and remind them that in the days ahead we'll be having interesting topics on a women's voice. And before we go, I want us to talk a little bit more on our topic. We've talked about you already started answering them. Do you think that on this day, a lot of most civil society organizations on the 28th of May, what they do is they teach young boys and girls about menstruation, which is a sensitization, which is good. They talk about the choice of pants, the attitude and everything. They talk everything about menstruation. And then some of them go as far as also distributing sanitary pads to these children, which is commendable. Now, do you think this is enough to achieve the desired goal, which it is targeted about having a period-friendly society such that women and girls can attain their potentials? We all know the stress and also the challenges which are associated with menstruation, the lack of access to menstrual tools and also healthcare facilities. What other things do you think these civil society organizations should do on this particular day and even every other day?
Okay, I think like someone said, menstrual hygiene, we share these sanitary napkins just on that day, and then now we have that one can be used for a month, and then now we have 11 more months to go. Waiting for the next year, May ending, for it to be distributed. So I think we could go beyond that as individuals. Even you listening to us, watching us right now, we could go beyond that and maybe teach these girls a trade or something that will be able to generate income with it, so that they take care of themselves for the rest of their life. They say, do not just teach give me fish to eat, but equally teach me how to catch the fish, so that I'll be able to get it some other time that you're not available. So we could equally take these other measures of doing economic empowerment, because if you look at some causes of poor menstrual hygiene, you see that economic factor plays a very big role. Okay, we are talking about water and the rest, not having water in your home and the rest. But if you have the means, if you have money, you can always pay somebody to fetch water, and you fetch extra gallons for during that period. And so sorry I interrupt you, but not everybody has the means. Whenever we handle topics here, to be honest, I always think about women in the rural communities, the rural areas. Just for example, let me just borrow from one of the trending areas where a certain government official has been transferred to. And then when you see the images of the road to that place, you're asking yourself if these people even have potable water. Even my place, it's difficult to get there. Okay, now you will realize that in these places they are used to using reusable sanitary napkins, and the work we might be doing there is not just to introduce them to disposable that they might not be able to afford, but is to help them understand better on how to properly use this reusable. And like I was saying, help them get a skill so that they will be able to afford. Even the reusable, at some point it gets worn out. You need to change it.
You need to
need to replace it. Yes, you need to reproduce. So if we could get them to have a skill, have a livelihood, a means of surviving, then it will save a lot, because this lady will now, they're aging, they won't be able to take care of themselves, their sisters and their daughters.
All right, Otto?
I think sensitization is good, but then again, sharing maybe these sanitary pads to orphanages, various institutions, just once a month, I don't think it goes anywhere. Like one of the contributors says, what happens to the other months left? How will those young girls and women cope, most especially those who don't have access or have money to buy these sanitary pads? Talking about empowerment, it's another thing too, in which these civil societies can empower women so that they can take care of themselves. And another way too is subsidizing, bringing the price down, because if you are talking about reusable parts, in the long run it will depreciate, and at the end of the day you will not be able to use it. Maybe you might be changing it maybe after 15 seconds because it can no longer hold. So I think sanitary pads, if the prices can be brought down at least a little bit, in which maybe that person taking care of an entire orphanage can provide for the girl or provide for their sisters and daughters, I think it will go a long way to help these women and young girls out there who are menstruating. And it also goes with the sustainable development goals when it concerns the celebration of this menstrual health hygiene, in which it's very important that you safeguard a woman during this period and you make available easy access to these menstrual hygiene tools, and also provide, like what we have been saying out of a few minutes here, providing a safe space and private space, water, wash hand basins, and all of that.
All right, thank you very much, Otop and Mabel, for your contributions on today's edition of our program. It was indeed a pleasure. And to you, Michelle and Mabel, and I didn't have the name of the third person who sent in their contributions. We just want to say thank you for your contribution on today's edition of the program. We appreciate your participation. A replay of today's edition will be yours on Sunday at exactly 4:30 p.m. In the meantime, dear TV friend, catch us next Thursday for another interesting program for another interesting edition of Women's Voice on Divine Mercy Radio Television. At this point in time, we're going to leave you in the company of more interesting programs coming up next on DMR TV. Stay blessed.